Evolution! Did we really all evolve from lesser life forms? You know what? I'll be absolutely honest. I don't care. That will probably blow some people away, but I just don't really care. And you know why I don't care? Because it's just a myth. It is just a myth. Now, you'll hear me use that term a lot, and generally what I mean by myth is it is a story that we have somehow created in order to explain something. Now, evolution, if you really get into it and you really study it, it does fit what we understand of the past. There are some problems. There are definitely some holes. On the other hand, what's a good science without a few holes? In fact, isn't that the point of science? To discover what we presently don't understand. Now, if you decide to read some interesting paper by a creationist scientist, you will probably read a few things that will sort of make sense. And you'll say, yeah, okay, that does kind of put evolution in a weird light. And then you'll read a few things that'll make you go, I'm amazed that this person actually can type English. Some of the theories are kind of insane and ridiculous. And I'm not necessarily saying that those people are insane and ridiculous. They are trying to find a reason for their myth to be correct. And I understand that. But why don't I really care? Well, let's take a possibility here, and especially for those of you who are a little more science-minded than, let's say, religiously minded. Let's say aliens. Okay? Let's say that a couple hundred years from now, we finally make contact with aliens. They land and we have a good long talk with them. They've been visiting Earth for who knows how long, and they ask us what we know, and we lay out this theory of evolution. And the little bald guy with the giant black eyes looks at us and says, that's funny, that's funny. No, really, that is funny. I can see where you think that. I can actually see where you think that. But actually, we've been just kind of screwing with you guys for millions of years. I mean, not you personally, but you know, the dinosaurs were kind of an attempt. We wanted to see what would happen. They were really all bioengineered, and they didn't work out so well. We tried a bunch of different systems, and we finally had to just sort of wipe them out. I love that theory about the whole, you know, the meteor killing them. There's actually some truth to that. Of course, it really wasn't just a meteor. It was actually a rather interesting weapon, because there's no way just a meteor would have wiped out all those life forms. But that's funny. I appreciate you guys. You got some great theories. We came up with you know, just at a certain point. You were in a series of attempts with other humanoid-like life forms, and you kind of won out. We're actually going to be destroying you in a couple of years and trying something new, but it was good to talk. Could that happen? I don't know. The point is that when we read the evidence scientifically, all we can do is come up with a myth that fits that evidence in the best way. Are there other possibilities? Yep. Anything could happen. The idea of aliens, I always think, is an interesting one, because it's an odd one that for some reason scientifically minded people are a little bit more okay with. A lot of cynics still don't want to accept the possibility of alien life, and yet we sort of know it has to exist, right? I mean, just imagine, even if what we understand of evolution is even remotely true, then any kind of being that has been evolving since the beginning of this universe, or even near the beginning of this universe, I can't even imagine what it would have evolved to by now. You know, some type of energy being existing outside of time. No, oh my gosh, that could be God. Anyway, that is a bit just the type of thinking that I sometimes like to put through in these shows, because I think that we get extremely bent out of shape over things that don't necessarily need to bend us out of shape. Evolutionists want very much for everyone to believe in their myth. Creationists want people to believe in their myth, and somehow they're incredibly upset if people aren't on their team. And this is why Omnists, or at least my kind of Omnist, has a tendency to just sort of step back and say, you know what, I don't really care. Not because I don't think it's important, not because I don't think it's interesting, and certainly that doesn't mean I'm not going to study it, but ultimately it doesn't matter. It's all just another myth. The only advantage, at least in certain respects, that I find to Omnism is that I think we don't mind the changes quite as much. If that alien did come down and tell us that, I think the Omnists would be a little less likely to have their mind blown. They would just go, okay, that's interesting. In short, we take change a little better. But then again, that's not the end-all, be-all. I'm the Urban Omnist. Just one of those things I wanted to talk about. Evolution. Is it real? Did we really come from monkeys? Did we really come from monkeys? Did we really come from Santa Barbara? Did we really come from... Oh, what am I talking about? Evolution! Is it true? Is it real? Is it possible? Did we actually evolve from lesser life forms, or are we de-evolving into game show hosts? These questions and more here on the Urban Omnist. Evolution. Is it real? I mean, is it anything more than just a long and annoying word to try and spell when you're a sixth grader? Is it? Is it really? Evolution. It's got a bunch of letters. And Charles Darwin just sort of pulled the idea out of his beard one day when he'd been eating too much corn, and I have no idea what I'm talking about.